Today's video, we are going to talk about Google Ads primary versus secondary conversion goals, why both of these actual type of goals, primary and secondary, actually work together to get you the most results out of your Google Ads account. I will start off this video explaining what are the technical differences between these two, because you obviously need to know that as well. But you also want to know the more advanced knowledge about these two different types of goals and how we set up goals at our advertising firm to guarantee results for our clients at Guaranteed PPC, given we have a don't pay unless we raise your profitability on your ad account a certain minimum amount up front. If you want to know how we're doing that, this is what we're going to talk about in today's video. With that said, getting into the technical differences here, just to get that out of the way. Primary goals are what Google looks at for bidding purposes. If you use smart bidding or even manual bidding with enhanced CPC checkbox checked there inside your account, the system, if you don't know already, Google Ads is pretty much all run off an algorithm now. They're trying to see if your ad should show up for a person or not show up for a person based upon their statistical likelihood of them wanting and can be helped by your ad, your landing page, your offer. Because if they don't think you can, the person that hypothetically you think you would like to get in front of would be helped by that ad, helped by your offer, helped by your company, they will show no ad because they don't want people to get immune to seeing ads. And when they see them and they click on them, they're useful, so they want to click on ads in the future. So with that said, the machine learning system's always trying to look at your ads as well as all your competition's ads to see where your ad should be useful. And even if you're bidding on the keyword red shoes, they're trying to decide what section of that red shoe traffic is your customer versus somebody else's customer versus nobody's customer. And they do that using your conversion goals that you have set up to track success. Also, they can track whether people click on your ad, go to your site, click back, click on another ad, indicating they didn't like what they had to see or what you had to offer on your website. So you set up these conversion goals for the system to learn who your customers are. The primary goals are what Google is supposed to primarily be looking at, it's in the name, to decide if your ad should show up for somebody or not. And so with that, you're supposed to be counting only things that really matter. That is, did they buy? Was the lead qualified? Did a lead come in? Did a phone call occur? Did a contact form fill occur? Did a live chat engagement occur? And then, because with that, those are all one way or another strongly correlated with revenue and profit from activity that you're paying for in your ads that you're running on Google Ads. So that is typically what you have set up as your primary conversion goals. And then the system's all just trying to do process of elimination, trial and error to figure out who will trigger those goals, who won't. And when you get a triggering of that goal, they look at the 1,000 different data points that person has that makes them unique, what websites they visited in the past, what browser they're on, how old they are, on and on and on and on. Put it into a database somewhere, and then when somebody else comes by that looks similar, they'll try it out with them, and if they also buy, then now they take that learning to then be a little bit more intelligent about who your ad should show up for and who it shouldn't show up for in the future, and it just keeps going. So, but primary goals, Google is using that to decide, all that is your ads. Should it show up for somebody? Should it not? And what also happens with primary goals is those conversion goals that are set as primary versus secondary show up in the conversions column of your ad account. So under conversions, whatever conversions show there, those are all primary goals. And there's some caveats to that, like in the campaign goal settings, if you've changed some stuff, it may not show up there anymore. I'll talk about that in a minute. And then furthermore, if you want to see secondary conversion goals, you can still see that under, if you adjust your columns in your account, you can see that under all conversions. So conversions show just primary goals. All conversions show primary and secondary goals. Okay? So with that said, first reason of which is it's great for backups. The two things I just mentioned, for bidding purposes and displaying data inside your ad account, everything I just mentioned there, the opposite is true for secondary goals. Now, so secondary goals, you may ask, what is the usefulness of those? Why do they even have a secondary goal? They don't publish this, but there's two ways that secondary goals actually make you money and why you also want to use those as well. First reason of which is it's great for backups. I talk about all the time on this channel about how important conversion tracking is for all the reasons I talked about. Google can only get you what you want if they know who bought, who didn't buy, and so forth. So half the value of your ad spend is just in the data collection and seeing what works and what doesn't work, what to triple down on, what to not do so much. And more than half of the people that advertise on Google Ads don't even track their primary goals or have primary goals set up right. I know because I've audited probably over 1,000 for sure accounts over the last 10 years. So I know what people are willing to do, what they're not willing to do. Maybe 30% of people are doing the conversion tracking right. With that said, the other thing that people don't want to do or listen to me on to their own detriment is that these conversion goals break all the time. So yeah, you can get by hiring an ad firm, thinking you're sneaky, saying you're going to be with them for life, and then have them set up the ads and the tracking and then just quit and say, oh, I got it all. I can manage it all myself now. Then they're not going to pay attention to their account thinking it's just going to run on its own. Oh, I saved my management fee to the ad agency. And you have, but something's going to break at some point in time. It's almost virtually guaranteed. And when it breaks, you're not going to notice it right away and your whole account's going to go off the rails. And all your sales are going to be gone. And when you do figure it out and you address it and you put it back to where it needs to be, after all the time it takes to figure that out, then it's going to, because it's been screwed up for a few weeks, it's going to take another few weeks to get the sales back to where they were. And now your sales, what you were counting on to pay all your staff, are off for 6 to 8 weeks. You saved the management fee, but you screwed yourself on the back end when that inevitably happens. Where that usually happens the most is when the conversion goals break. Conversion tracking breaks all the time. Why does it break? Every month at our advertising firm, we check every single conversion goal that we're tracking for the client. Conversion goals break so often, and a lot of times there's just no reason for it. You can have a cart tracking goal that tracks cart purchases on your site. Was working great for 3 years straight. All of a sudden it shit the bed one day, and ultimately the conversion goals, they aren't tracking the way that they were, and that sends all the campaigns that use that conversion data to decide where an ad should show up and where it shouldn't. Everything it thought it knew and all the results that you're now getting because you built up 3 years with the data, it doesn't know it anymore, and it goes back into learning mode and all your results go out the window. So we'll have to test all of our goals once a month to be able to know if things are working. Given that, the obvious thing is when it says that you're getting 0 conversions, things are broken. But oftentimes the goals are intermittent. It'll only count 60% of what it's supposed to count or 70% of what it's supposed to count. And in those situations, how are you supposed to address that conversion goal that you set up to track purchases, that all your account performance is relying on? How do you know that it's doing that? There is no way other than a secondary goal. You can set up, in that scenario where you're tracking cart purchases, primary goal set up through Google Ads to track cart purchases. Then you could set up a secondary goal that tracks the same cart purchases in Google Analytics 4, which then you import that goal to Google Ads and you have it running side by side with your primary goal that tracks purchases, the campaigns are using to steer the ads with, and you got that backup one, and then you could, in normal times, you could know, okay, this goal tracks about 30% more than this one that's supposed to track the same cart purchases. That's common with Google Ads. Purchase goals, it'll usually count about 30% more than what Google Analytics will track. But that ratio should be about 30% different. If all of a sudden you've got a reminder in your calendar once a week to check if your goals look like they're broken or not working or whatever, because you know how important it is to maintain that, you all of a sudden see the goal is tracking at par or at parity where they're counting about the same amount of conversions, even though it's supposed to be 30% higher on the main goal that your campaigns are looking at. Then you can know to address the situation. Don't address the situation, slowly the campaigns are going to drift off course and you're going to really, really take it in the pants on your results. Okay? So, and in that situation, fixing it's hard, obviously, because how do you fix a goal that's intermittently working? A lot of times you just take the tracking, you shut it down, you turn it on again, and it'll work magically, which is one of our main go-tos. But that is where a secondary goal has, I want to say, the most use, okay? To serve as a backup, and it serves as a backup and a benefit to you 2 ways there, technically, 2 subways. One of which is use it as a point of reference to see if your main goal that tracks the same thing is still working. The second way is, well, if that main goal that you were using for years to steer your campaign suddenly stops working, you immediately have another goal that you can then turn on as your primary, take the secondary one, make it primary, take the primary one, make it secondary, while you're working on the goal that you really want to be your primary and getting that fixed. So you have a backup, literally a backup goal to go to. And that's the main other way that, having a secondary goal can help you. That said, even though the secondary goal has been tracking purchases just as long as the primary goal, and you switch them, by the way, you're still going to take a hit in your results, and you're going to want to get the primary goal that the campaigns were using for a long time fixed as quickly as possible, because that's just kind of how it is. I won't go into detail on that, but it's a hell of a lot better than the goal breaking, you scrambling trying to fix that goal and having no conversion data whatsoever. So that is the main benefit of the secondary goals, in my opinion, but also you got this buildup of a goal. So one thing I talk about a lot in this video or on this channel is how the closer you get to the point of purchase that you can with your tracking, the better your results are going to be, because the algorithm that drives the ads is going to be more accurate about getting you what you ultimately want, which is sales and profit, than, let's say, tracking a phone call, which that is loosely correlated with profits, but not directly tied together one-to-one there. So naturally, you should just track sales, whether you're generating leads or you're trying to sell through your shopping cart, whatever. You always want to just track sales, because sales are what you want. However, it takes a lot of times generate enough sales data for the systems that Google has to accurately run your ad. At the very least, generally speaking, you need at least 30 conversions on any goal for Google to have enough minimum data to use that to steer your ads with. 100 is actually a lot better than 30, but 30, in my opinion, is your bare minimum. That's your floor right there. So what we'll do often when we start out an advertising account is we'll track phone calls, like assuming we're not just selling a $20 broom and they're just going to buy the shopping cart, or they're not. They ain't calling. They ain't going to be asking no questions. They're either buying through the shopping cart or nothing. The clients that we have that fits that mold is like literally 10% or less of the total clients out there, and that's how things just generally roll. But in that scenario where we're selling that $300 car part, we'll track a phone call question that comes in. We'll track a form fill that comes in. We'll track the cart purchases, knowing that we can use the call purchase tracking goal data and the form tracking data that we can get a lot more initially earlier on in the game to steer the ads with, get it on the rails quicker with the campaign. Then switch to having the campaigns operate and use for bidding strategy-wise, utilize the purchase data. The campaigns you utilize in terms of a conversion goal to optimize your ads with down the road is not the same goal you start out with, having it optimized with at the beginning. And that can actually go even further, such as if it's even tough for you to get a phone call, you could take a step backwards and say, if anybody just has a live chat, you can use that to steer your ads with initially, then switch to calls, then switch to purchases to optimize your ads with. Or it could be somebody who just simply clicks the FAQ button, which that obviously is correlated with purchases loosely, and you can build up that data quickly. And it's something you can use that will get your ads on course quicker, because naturally then everybody, basically, unless you're Daddy Warbucks starting out, you just have millions starting out, everybody's trying to make their ads work as quickly as possible so that they hit profitability before they go bankrupt, okay? You're going to do that quicker if you have the best quality data to work with, but also have best data you have at the time to work, meaning micro conversions, tracking FAQ button clicks, using that to steer your ads with until you have at least 30 calls, and then switching the campaigns to optimize from that. So buildup of a goal, you can take a goal to track purchases, knowing you can't use it to steer your ads for a long time, like 6 months in, because it's going to take you 6 months to get 30 purchases. And you can have the purchase goal, though, build in data from the very beginning of starting the ads, knowing you can't use it until it at least gets 30 conversions. Keeping it in secondary while all that's building up, then being able to utilize it. Whereas the FAQ button clicks are now in primary from the very start, if you will. So that's a second way you use secondary goals to make the most money with Google Ads. Now, a final thing I wanted to mention here. So you have the primary and secondary goals in your campaign menu, or your conversion goal menu, for you to choose each goal to be either secondary or primary. You also have the campaign goal settings in each campaign itself. So you can set up your campaigns to optimize for different things by campaign. So if one campaign you want to optimize for phone calls, You can do that. If you want another one to optimize for card purchases, you could technically do that. That's not a common scenario. Usually it's all the campaigns will optimize for the same thing at any given time, because when you get enough data to optimize for purchases, then all the campaigns will optimize for purchases. But what that said, what I'll usually do to get the most results, and what you should strongly consider it doing here is, you can have at the account level, have all your conversion goals, track your micro and your macro conversions from the start. The FAQ button clicks or anything that you think will strongly correlate with profits, the leads, phone call, form filled, chat, and then also the purchases, okay? And if you're doing a lot of sales offline through the phone, you're taking credit cards over the phone, or the purchases occur over the phone, you use something called offline conversion tracking to get the sales data into your account, or if a sale usually takes a long time to close, i.e. longer than 90 days, you at least import back into your account whether that lead was qualified or not, and then use that to steer your ads, because that's going to get you a lot better results than just optimizing for any lead, because any lead, the best leads are never going to be the cheapest leads, and if you just optimize for cheap leads, you're going to get the shittiest leads basically by default. But anyway, you set up those conversion goals at the account level, so you could make all those goals primary, but at the campaign level, you're going to make just the goals that you want to have the campaigns optimized for at any given time be the ones that the campaign at the campaign level that is set up for the campaign to optimize for. So in other words, you could set up goals to track FAQ button clicks, phone calls, form fills, chats, and cart purchases on the conversion goal menu. Mark them all primary, okay? However, at the campaign menu, you just tell that Google, for that campaign, you want to optimize for phone calls and form fills and purchases, not FAQ button clicks. In that scenario, Google will use the FAQ button clicks as an additional note in their machine learning system's decision-making process of when an ad should show up, for which type of person, when it shouldn't show up, but primarily listen to whether, what generates a lead or a sale, not an FAQ button click. And with that layout that I just gave you there, where you track the macro and micro conversions in the conversion goal menu, goals primary, and then just selecting the goal at the time that is the closest to a profit generating scenario or event that you have at least 30 conversions of, that's what you set at the campaign goal settings menu at the given time. And when I say campaign goal settings menu, I literally mean under the campaign, in the settings, it says campaign goals. You select which goals you want that campaign to optimize for, and you're going to optimize for whatever goal has at least 30 or more purchases that's as close to a purchase as possible, if not the purchases themselves. So that's the kind of layout that I typically use so that I'm getting the most results out of Google Ads. I'm giving Google's system the most data to work with, the highest quality data to work with, and I'm helping Google decipher which data that it should be looking at any given time the most based upon where in the actual game that we're at. Are we at the second inning, third inning, fourth inning? Okay, we're closer to the ninth inning. We should just be looking at purchase data now. Forget the FAQ button data. That's irrelevant at this stage. Just look at purchase data, maybe the phone call data a little bit, or it's second inning, and basically just look at everything you can. Whatever data comes in, you're looking at it all, because the lack of volume of data means utilizing as much volume of data as possible. Whereas when you get a lot of data, you'll do better, taking the amount of data you have and distilling it down to the best data for the campaigns to look at it at any given time. Anyway, hopefully that makes sense. How and what's the difference between the primary and secondary goals, how you're going to utilize them both to your advantage. They both have their use, and going further than that, just know better quality conversion data you have in your account, the more money you're going to make, bottom line. You can fight and kick and scream all that you want about how hard it is to set up conversion tracking, and you don't have time to do this and that, and you just want to turn on your ads and have it work. Google works as it works. If you're not getting the results that you're looking for and you haven't done what I just told you here, you can't complain at the very least, okay? You can't complain that you're not making the money you want to make until you've done all this stuff, because Google wants to help you make money. They're giving you the tools to make money. And if you're going to be so arrogant and say, I don't need your damn tools, I can make the money anyway, Google's going to say, okay, well, this guy over here has better data than you, and I understand his stuff better than you. I'm going to give all the customers to them. Because at the end of the day, I can tell you for a fact, when you advertise with Google and everybody has smart bidding, Google can decide to send that person that they know has, let's say, 95% probability to convert into a customer. They could send it to you or somebody else. And they know that because they've watched everything everybody's done on Google for the last 25 years. And what websites they've normally visited before they've purchased in your space before, and how old they usually, and they can just, through their models, understand that. And if you either get on this good side with Google, that where they really want to keep you around as an advertiser because users are getting a better experience, everybody else in your space, and they want to send all those good users to you, or they're going to be able to send, they're going to want to send all the users least likely to convert to you because they don't give a damn if you stick around or not. So you could not give a damn about Google, but they could also just as easily, not give a damn about you. And then as a result of that, good luck making some profit after your expenses. And you can stick your head in the sand and say, I don't need to track my results. Oh, it's working good enough. Or it's not going to work any better if I try any harder. Generally speaking, though, millions are on the line doing it right. If you just do the work to set it up right from the beginning. Set up the foundation with the tracking, set up the foundation with the ads, having a better ad and a better landing page than your competition or website, and having a better offer, guarantees, warranties, getting it to where it's at least twice as good as any of your competition on Google Ads as it sits right now. And then once you've done that, you're gonna make a lot of money. Google wants to send it all or as much as they can to the person who's doing the best job for their users. Take it from me, I promise you'll make money if you just follow those simple rules. Yes, it's not simple in terms of execution. It takes some work to set up. You can build a house and just hope that the house doesn't collapse. Or you can actually do it like you're supposed to and it just works. That's really the scenario that you have with Google. You can either fall on one side of the spectrum or the other with Google and how they're going to treat you. If you have any questions about anything I covered here, leave me a comment below. I get back to every single person who leaves me a question or a comment on this channel, usually within 24 hours time. If you haven't subscribed to this channel and you're serious about making money with ads, what are you doing, first of all? Because the information I'm giving you on this channel is coming from somebody who spends 40 hours a week working on dozens of ad accounts to give you the working knowledge about what works and what doesn't work on Google ads as well as Facebook ads and so forth. And it's all free. It's very unique information in that 98% of the information you find from other so-called gurus online ain't running no ads. Or they run an agency and they don't actually run any ads themselves. But mostly it's just people that don't run an agency or don't run any ads at all. I know because I've looked around and been around. I know what's out there. This is real information coming from somebody who is in the trenches, weeds, doing it. So you should subscribe if you're going to pay attention to anybody. You at least pay attention to this information here. You can also find my blog at guaranteeppc.com/blog, which has step-by-step advice on how to use specific strategies that we use to guarantee results for our clients with visuals, with the screenshots, everything you need to be able to make money with ads. If you like the channel, I promise you're going to like that blog as well. If you're looking for somebody who is a good executor, can do the stuff I talk about on this channel for you, and you just cut a check for it, pays for itself, it will. This is what I do for clients at our advertising agency here. And like I mentioned at the start of this video, we do not charge a fee until we get our clients a certain minimum amount of profitability lift on their ad account, or for a new account to a certain minimum benchmark to show them there's legs behind what we're doing. And we don't take on just any client with that offer, but if you got something you think that will work well, and we want to see if we can potentially work together, reach out to guaranteeppc.com. I'll be happy to give you a free assessment to see what the possibilities may be, run some projections for you, and give you an offer of, guarantee what we could get you to at a minimum at the start, something there that looks like we could actually do well with it. If you want to see if we can work together, reach out to me. I'd be happy to hear from you on that. As a side, if you're not looking to work with an ad agency per se, we also sell ad templates that we've developed for and have on hand. That is, in the last 10 years of running this advertising firm now, we've worked in 100 plus niche markets. And if we've worked in your niche market before, you'd save yourself a lot of time and money just buying the template from us that has all the winning ads, landing page templates, all of it that work for your niche market already. Just copy and paste it to your account and get the same results we're getting or have gotten in the past. So, and we can tell you the results we got with it before you ever purchase the template from us. So you're literally getting turnkey results where they set flat to acquire that template from us. If you're interested in that, you can also reach out to me at guaranteeppc.com. We got people using these templates to start whole other businesses from scratch. If you want the easiest way to start a business, start from a template that we know works to sell a product or service in a niche market profitably, and just turn it on for your market. Bang, voila, you have a working business. So, and we got people that use these templates to sell leads to people to other people in a niche market, which is a great passive income business idea if you're looking for one. But with that said, I'll wrap everything up with that. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.